Live from downtown Macon, this is WGXA News live on YouTube.
Hi, Middle Georgia. Good evening. I'm Greg Lloyd.
I'm Amanda Peralta. Thank you for watching WGXA News at 5:30.
Our top story at 5:30, continuing coverage from the Rose Hill Cemetery in Macon. The search continues for a black truck that law enforcement says damaged an historic arch inside that cemetery.
Tonight, we're taking a deeper dive into why security cameras less than 3 months old were not enough to catch the culprit. Our Brianna Cook is live with more and joins us now. Brianna.
Greg and Amanda, we covered the installation of the security cameras back in March. Now, less than 3 months later, our viewers are asking why those cameras didn't help in this incident on Friday.
WGXA News was at Rose Hill Cemetery in March when new security cameras were being installed in an effort to prevent vandalism. Joey Fernandez handles preservation and restoration at Rose Hill. In March, he told us they worked with Macon-Bibb County officials to have security cameras installed, even including a car tag reader.
We're stepping up the security measures here with, highly sophisticated cameras just to, deter future activities that are very, very costly.
Fernandez says the cameras were there to keep the walls and monuments from being broken.
Another step into preserving it, because if we keep damaging and, knocking over brick walls and nobody is held accountable for it, there won't be any brick walls.
Fast forward to Thursday night when investigators say someone in a black truck hit this arch, leaving behind substantial damage. Unfortunately, the security cameras did not capture Thursday night's incident. Chris Floor with Macon-Bibb County says the cameras were only put in an area where vandalism was happening the most. None of the cameras installed were placed in an area that would show the arc that was damaged. Floor says they are currently looking into whether repairing the gate is a viable option, and if so, how much will it cost? Investigators are checking with nearby businesses to see if anyone may have security cameras that face the direction of the gate in order to determine what happened.
We did reach out to cemetery officials, but they declined to interview, saying that they were fearful of controversy. Reporting live in Macon, Brianna Cook, WGXA News.
A standout high school football player and 2 other victims are recovering after being shot at a graduation party over the weekend. The Forsyth Police Department says it happened on Millage Circle yesterday. The Sheriff's Department says all 3 victims were between 16 and 20 years old, and they are not releasing the victims' names. According to the Mary Persons Touchdown Club, 1 victim was high school student and football player DJ Walton. Authorities are still looking into what led to the shooting and who opened fire. WGXA is working to get more information on the shooting. Be sure to stay with us on air and online for any developments. And Eatonton police are investigating a fatal shooting at a gas station yesterday. They say 33-year-old Frederick Scott Jr. was shot and killed at the Shell gas station on Sumter Street around 5. Investigators say no arrest has been made, but they have a suspect identified and a warrant out for his arrest. Cordele police moved to quickly solve a deadly shooting on Sunday. Officers found a man suffering from a gunshot wound at 7 Springs Drive. They attempted to give him first aid, but the man died. Officers were able to ID a suspect with the help of witnesses who say they saw 20-year-old Patrick Ellis Jr. running from the scene. Ellis was arrested shortly after the shooting at the Sunset Homes by Crisp deputies. No word on charges yet, but Ellis did have a warrant for his arrest. The GBI has been called in to investigate the case. The name and victim and details leading up to the shooting have not yet been released.
This man is behind bars after deputies say he robbed a Monroe County church. On Saturday, deputies were called to the Parker Chapel AME Church on Highway 83 for a burglary in progress. They say while they were on their way to the church, they saw a man later identified as 24-year-old Joshua Bauer leaving the area. When officials say they tried to talk to him, he ran away. Deputies said they recovered microphones and other stolen items that Bauer had from the church, and later found out that he had made forced entry through the church's back door.
And take a look at this. One deputy in Georgia spotted a sports car that gives a new meaning to super speeder. In a post on Facebook, the Forsyth County Sheriff's Office says they clocked a Ferrari going 178 miles per hour on Georgia Highway 400. The Sheriff's Office said there's no justifiable reason to go that fast, adding even if the driver isn't concerned for their safety, they're putting others at risk. They warned the driver and other super speeders that they should slow down because next time, quote, spike strips won't care how fast you're going.
Drivers in Warner Robins now have a greater chance of being fined for speeding. It comes after the city ended the 45-day warning period for speeding in red zone areas.
Our Gloria Ruth Finney spoke with people in Warner Robins about red speed cameras and how the devices are affecting the way they drive.
It's actually a smart improvement that they're adding to the neighborhood because you shouldn't be speeding in the speed zones.
Takario Dawson is a Warner Robins resident who likes the idea of red speed cameras. The cameras will be fully operational beginning Monday through June 30th to ensure the safety of students and pedestrians near Northside High School and Huntington Middle while summer school is in session. It's part of the city's comprehensive plan to address speeding concerns in designated red zones, including those near Warner Robins High and Lake Joy Elementary.
Whatever punishments come by on it, I think everybody should accept it.
And drivers will have to do just that. The first offense will cost you $80, and each additional offense will have you shelling out $130. And with those ticket prices, it has one driver already thinking of being even more cautious in the photo-enforced speed zones.
It's gonna make me more aware of my limits of like driving and like my speed.
Jamarian Jackson says he's okay with the cameras because of their purpose, enforcing safer driving in high-traffic areas near schools.
I'll be looking at my speed, checking my speed, see if I'm not going over the speed limit so I won't get fined.
The cameras will collect the speed of those going too fast and snap a photo. Warner Robins police will verify the offense, sending a fine to whomever the vehicle is registered under.
If I only got a ticket, I would make some kind of actions to change what I did wrong and make improvements so it won't happen again and I keep everybody safer.
Cameras are active Monday through Friday from 7 in the morning until noon, catching anyone going 11 miles per hour or more over the speed limit.
June is now in full swing and summer is just around the corner because today was really hot and I think the heat is here to stay.
I do too, Amanda. It felt every bit of it. Meteorologist Ryan Mirando is telling us that some of the best, hottest temperatures so far this week are coming our way, right?
Yeah, I know
he's
you
probably
guys.
hoping the winter is coming too.
Exactly, winter is
guess.
coming. Of course it is, but I knew you guys would love the heat, so I was like, it's going to be the best news for you because the heat, and we likely could have the hottest temperatures so far this week of the year. A live look out over Macon though with our Wilson Bryan Heating and Air Skycast Network. Not a cloud in the sky, blue skies out there right now. Really a beautiful day. Temperatures are generally into the mid 80s right now. Our average has now ticked up into the 90s. 90 degrees is our average high. 85 in Macon, 82 in Wrightsville, 83 in Sparta, 86 in Montezuma, and 84 degrees down in Cordele. Temperatures are generally a little bit cooler than this time yesterday, running only around 1 to around 4 degrees cooler than this time yesterday. So it still is definitely hot, but the humidity is really in check still for today. And satellite and radar is showing that we do have this area, the slice of nice that we're over right now. There are a lot of storms that are firing up over Mississippi and areas to the west. We should stay dry for the rest of tonight. Looking ahead though, coming up, we could have the hottest temperatures so far of the year this week. We are checking for some moderate air quality and also tracking our next system. I'll break down all the details coming up in your full forecast. Greg, Amanda.
Thank you, Ryan. Now's a great time to download that WGXA weather app. Ryan is back in less than 20 minutes with your 10-day forecast.
We're continuing to follow a story out of Washington County. The school board voted last week to part ways with their superintendent.
The board called a meeting today and immediately went into executive session where they've been for nearly 5 hours now. Now, here's what we know. This special meeting follows the board's regularly scheduled meeting last week in which Superintendent Dr. Ricky Edmond shared his exit presentation just a few weeks after the board voted for his removal. It's still unclear why the Washington County Board of Education voted to release Dr. Edmond early from his contract. Now, the board called this special meeting at 12:45. They immediately went into executive session after addressing an otherwise empty room asking for public comment. One board member did show up late, and it leaves all members to have been seen at that special called meeting. We can tell you that, except for Dr. Edmonds and other board member Lee Jordan. Now, WGXA received a statement from Washington County Schools this past Friday announcing the board's vote on May 8th to release Edmond from his contract, stating the release will be effective come June the 30th.
Our news team is waiting for the district's response after sending an open records request to review the terms of Edmund's contract. We've been examining his salary over his tenure after viewers expressed concerns over pay in the district.
We're also working to learn how much the buyout of his contract will be.
And the Macon-Bibb County Commission is preparing to appoint a new election supervisor for the Board of Elections. This comes after the Board of Elections lost their legal case against Mayor Lester Miller and the commissioners for the right to choose the election supervisor last Wednesday. At tomorrow's meeting, the commission is set to reappoint 4 of the current election board members and prepare to appoint the election supervisor.
Well, new tonight, city leaders in Warner Robins are making plans for the next year, including how millions of dollars will be spent.
Carlos Stevens is taking a deeper dive into the mayor's proposed budget and where your tax dollars could be spent. Carlos?
Guys, this budget is over $165 million, and a big focus on this money will be giving city employees raises, according to the mayor.
The reason being is the inflated market that we're all experiencing across the nation. The cost of living has increased dramatically. Many of us have saw the article about a month ago that came out that showed Warner Robins as the top 3 cities in our entire nation that has the largest increase in housing market.
Warner Robins Mayor LaRonda Patrick says now is the time to get ahead.
That kind of data shows the importance of us getting salaries where they need to be.
Pay raises are a big part of Patrick's proposed city budget. She says 10% raises were given across the board last year, but this year will be a much different story.
This year, we are not doing across-the-board raises. We are doing it according to a proper scale.
A proper scale that will make the international city competitive.
Right now, for many positions across the city, we are paying the least amount in the county and surrounding counties, which is absolutely unacceptable.
While raises are a top priority, so is the community for Mayor Patrick. She says there are plans for the city to use SPLOST and ARPA funds that will allow them to improve parks across the city like Ted Wright Park.
If you ride by there, you're going to see a lot of people, a lot of adults standing, a lot of parents standing. There's not a lot of places to sit. There's not a lot of places to host for parties or picnics. So we're going to be putting in some pavilions with grills and benches.
Patrick says they will also be looking to fix other recreational areas across Warner Robins. Now, the public is invited to share their thoughts on how the city should spend the money next Wednesday at 11:30 a.m. We're live in I'm Carlos Stevens, WGXA News, guys.
Thank you so much, Carlos. Bibb parents and taxpayers will have the chance to hear about the school district's budget plans for the new school year. Bibb Schools is holding 2 public hearings on the budget. The first is tomorrow evening at 5 at the boardroom in the 4th room of the Mulberry Street offices. Following it will be a called board meeting. The second hearing over the budget will be next Tuesday, the 13th, at the Professional Learning Center on Riverside Drive.
Right now, we're just a little bit away from, in fact, I think it just started just a moment ago, about getting some answers from the city of Gordon, all over who charged more than $6,000 on the city credit cards in Gordon. You may recall we've covered that extensively. Our Irina Plunkett has been at the forefront of that coverage, and she joins us with a preview of what's expected to be discussed at City Hall this evening.
Greg, this is an update nearly 3 months in the making. Tonight, city leaders will be coming together to discuss the bill for an independent attorney. He was hired as a new set of eyes to comb through over a 60-page report of unauthorized charges taken out by City Council member Rodney Evans and Mayor April Smith. After Mayor Smith spent around $4,400 on Gordon's Christmas celebration, the cards, according to City Attorney James Green, were later used for various other purchases, some of which were not signed off on, including a trip to Washington, D.C. and a Georgia convention. Charges the city says they do not have in the budget to pay for. After hiring another lawyer to review the charges with an hourly rate of $185, today city leaders will be discussing the bill to repay the lawyer. In the meantime, I'll be here in the chambers to gather any new information about the credit card controversy in Gordon. For now, though, reporting in Gordon, Irina Plunkett, WGXA News.
Gas prices in Macon are holding steady. Gas Buddy says the average cost for a gallon is up less than 1 cent from last week. The average cost sits at $3.19 in Macon, just 1.5 cents higher than last month and a whole dollar less than this time last year.
Gas Buddy fuel analyst Patrick DeHaan says the national average has drifted down as oil prices cooled, but he expects that will soon change after OPEC Plus announced production cuts yesterday. He says we should see a slight hike in gas prices as soon as midweek.
Questions remain after a plane that flew over the nation's capital led to fighter jets scrambling to intercept it before a deadly crash in Virginia. Jennifer Griffin has the latest from the Pentagon.
New details emerging about those on board the flight that crashed in Virginia Sunday after entering a no-fly zone over the nation's capital.
There's a lot of questions there, but obviously a tragedy.
Along with the pilot, 49-year-old Adina Azarian was on board with her 2-year-old daughter and nanny. She is the daughter of Barbara Rumpel and her husband John. The plane was registered to Encore Motors in Florida. Barbara wrote on Facebook, quote, "My family is gone, my daughter and granddaughter." The Cessna Citation taking off from Elizabethton, Tennessee, heading to Long Island, when it made a 180-degree turn in New York and began flying back down the East Coast. Alarm bells sounding once the aircraft began approaching Washington, D.C.
I think the air traffic control tapes are really going to tell a good story of, how quickly did they lose contact with this aircraft.
NORAD scrambled 6 F-16 fighter jets, the sound of a sonic boom ringing out over Washington and as far away as Maryland, shaking windows and walls. 2 of the jets intercepted the Cessna, and the pilots fired flares attempting to get the attention of the pilot, who was unresponsive. The plane was on autopilot when it crashed in the mountains of southwest Virginia, in the George Washington National Forest.
So whether this was a decompression or whether there was a heart attack or something, it's so early, too early on to tell.
The NTSB is on scene investigating the cause of the crash. At the Pentagon, Jennifer Griffin, Fox News.
The U.S. and China are rising after several military close calls. This video is from the Strait of Taiwan over the weekend when a Chinese warship nearly collided with a U.S. military destroyer. The ships came within 150 yards of each other. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin sent a message to China calling on the country to rein in this conduct because accidents can happen that could spiral out of control. China has defended its warship, telling the U.S. to mind its own business and accusing us of provocation. This incident comes just days after a Chinese jet flew within hundreds of feet of an American spy plane and months after the fiasco of the Chinese spy balloons hovering over the U.S.
Well, if you're a fan of the summer, it is going to feel like it this week with temperatures likely the warmest so far this year in the low 90s. Summer right around the corner. And planning your day tomorrow, definitely a day that you're going to grab the sunglasses. It's going to be a hot one. 69 degrees at 8 o'clock under bright sunshine. By lunchtime, 85, and then temperatures in the afternoon sitting in the low 90s. So it is going to be a bit of a hot day for tomorrow. What we're also tracking, though, is our air quality is starting to be on the increase. We're right now into the moderate category. That's one step above the good. There's some Canadian wildfires that are beginning to burn. We're not going to be hit with really the heaviness of the biggest air quality problems, but we are going to have a little bit of this moderate category really for the next few days. So showing you kind of the future smoke here, really the darker oranges are the heaviest smoke particles. Notice we're kind of in the blue. We're right on the fringe of it. This is by Wednesday morning. We're not going to get hit with the heaviest, but that means that we could just see for some extremely sensitive groups could notice a difference, but for the majority of us, we really aren't going to notice a difference in terms of the air quality. Today, though, pretty beautiful day. Temperatures in the mid 80s, 85 degrees in Macon, 83 in Forsyth, 84 in Edenton, 85 in Hawkinsville, and also 85 degrees right now in Warner Robins. And satellite and radar showing that we do have a lot of clear skies right now. Not really a lot out there, but there are a lot of showers and storms that are popping over well to our west in Mississippi and over near Texas. We should be staying dry really for the rest of your Monday night. By 7 o'clock, 85 degrees, and by 10, 73. A clear night as temperatures cool down into the mid 60s going out the door for your Tuesday morning. But the day tomorrow is going to be a warm one. Widespread low 90s tomorrow. Could be the warmest day so far this year. year. We've only had really 1 or 2 90-degree days so far, and we'll see a lot of them, especially as we get towards the month of July. But 91 for the high in Irvington, 92 in Forsyth, 91 in Vienna, and 91 degrees in Eastman for the high. In terms of tracking our next system, we should be looking like it's coming through Thursday night with a cold front. Doesn't look to pack a ton of moisture, but we get some scattering of some showers and storms. We dry out for the rest of the week, and then we could get some more scattered storms start to fire up Sunday and into Monday. So right now the front looks to come through really Thursday evening. So in your 10-day forecast tomorrow, it is a hot day. The highs in the low 90s. Our average high now has ticked up into the 90-degree mark, 92 degrees for the high, a hot day. For Wednesday, we continue that heat with a high of 91 degrees with a mixture of clouds and sun as that front begins to approach. Not a lot of reinforcing cold air behind it. It's going to knock down the humidity though and bring some kind of a kickoff to the heat. 88 degrees for Thursday with some scattered storms. On Friday, bright sunshine, 88 degrees. That lowering humidity will definitely be noticeable on Friday. Then heading back into the weekend, it's looking pretty nice. Plenty of sunshine on Saturday with a high of 90 degrees. But Sunday, we start to get back into that summertime air mass with some isolated PM storms in the afternoon, 89 degrees. And then back to work next Monday, some scattered storms around the high, also 89. Lastly, here's your Harrison's Body Shop Fish and Game forecast. Peaks at excellent at 5 a.m. and good at 10:20 p.m.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Gary Thigpen, and I'm here again today at the Animal Rescue Foundation in Milledgeville. I'm joined again with Aline and the young lady beside you.
It's Kayla.
Hey, Kayla. I don't know why sometimes I forget that name, but anyway, we are joined today by
Cooper.
Cooper.
So Cooper is the last of a set of 3 puppies. They're all pretty timid, and Cooper is no exception. He did live with an owner for a few months. Unfortunately, she lost her housing, so she was unable to keep him. But he is super sweet. He's good with cats, other dogs. He's house trained, crate trained, fully vetted, and knows some commands.
And you said Cooper is about how old?
About 10 months.
About 10 months. So if you want a relatively young dog that's got a lot of energy, would be great with kids, how would they go about adopting Cooper?
Then you go to our website at animalrescuefoundation.org and click on how to adopt, fill out the app, and we'll be in touch.
All right, let's do that today, guys. Let's find Cooper a really good home. He is so deserving and so ready for that. Thank you, Aline.
Thank you.
A surprise guest at Taylor Swift's concert in Chicago Sunday night left her quite literally speechless. While Swift was talking to the crowd, she suddenly started coughing and turned her back. She then announced that she had swallowed a bug, saying, "Oh, delicious," which got a laugh. Seemingly embarrassed, Swift asked the crowd, "Is there any chance that none of you saw that?" She was eventually able to shake it off and continue the show.
Not shake it off. I can't believe that.
Yeah, I mean,
can't.
I think she has, I think every single title of one of her songs makes a great pun. And that one's a good one.
It really
Shake It
does.
Off.
It fits for so much.
Do you know of any other ones off the top of your head? Shake
Not
It
off
Off.
the top of my head, but I've seen a lot of people do it on TikTok.
You know, Cecily Tynan one time did a funny thing with with Taylor Swift.
I've never heard of Cecily Tynan.
I know, right?
Please fill us in on who
I'm
she
kidding,
is.
Cecily.
When she came to Philly, she did a forecast for each day of the concert. And she was like, we're gonna shake it off the rain, and no midnight rain or something. And I was like,
No.
wow.
I think we have to go listen to the album so we can do that.
That's
You,
right.
you know how a lot of people are, I know you all too well. There we go. And a lot of people are fascinated with Taylor Swift.
Right.
He is that fascinated with Cecily
Oh my
Tynan.
God.
That's who he wants. That's his idol.
Yeah.
That's his idol. She's a
100%.
meteorologist. Tell everybody who she is now. They're going to wonder
She's
who
the
she is.
chief meteorologist at WTVI.
Don't forget
Excuse
Chief.
me.
Or 6
Excuse
ABC
me.
in Philadelphia. That's my home markets. You know, I always watch them. My whole family watches them.
Yeah.
We just love it.
And we watch her every night because
I have an
Ryan
audience.
has it. Yes, he makes us, and she is quite good at her job. So love to you, Cecily. We're just
Looking
giving
up
him a
to
hard
you.
time.
Exactly.
Well, that'll do it for now. But if you like what you see here, we hope you will like and subscribe.
We invite you to join us at 6 on ABC 16.
Have a good night.